Sorry about that, I messed up the video. So this is the link. So to clear the alternator of the wiring harness, you're going to need a 10mm wrench on the side, and then you'll have a bracket here with 2 bolts on the side of the alternator, and that will allow you to clear the alternator of the wiring harness. And there you have it. Okay, so since the video got cut off, let's recap again. We've removed the thermostat housing. Alright, and that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 5 12mm bolts to get our thermostat housing off. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 12mm bolts to get our oil filter housing off. Then we had 2 14mm mounting bolts for the alternator. And then on the side, to clear it of the wire harness, you've got 2 10mm bolts that you need to get off to clear it of the wiring harness. Now, the next thing that I'm going to work on is getting the tensioner and the other idler pulleys off. And these are going to be 14mm sockets in order to get that off. Okay, so there's always questions on how to get these tensioner assemblies off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the hanger, the front hanger for the AC compressor. I'm not going to remove it completely. I'm not going to disconnect the lines. And then I'm going to get in here and unbolt and slide my AC compressor to the side. So then I can get in here and I can get my tensioner assembly off, because that's the next step that I need to do to work on getting my water pump and other things off. So again, I'm going to first start with my AC compressor hanger for the front line, get that off so I can move my AC compressor around a little bit and have some more room to work. Alright, and so now you can see, in order to save money, all I did was I disconnected the AC line hanger, but I didn't disconnect the AC line from the compressor. Alright, so I don't have to discharge the Freon. I did remove the AC compressor from the engine block. I unbolted it and then just let it set aside. And so now, on the Toyota 4.0, I do want to point this out. This will allow you to get in here and get your tensioner off, because your tensioner bolts are not on the front, they're going to be on the side. Okay, so you're going to have one here. Let's see if I can get in here. So you got one there, and then you've got another one down here, and then you've got some more. So there you go. We started with the thermostat housing, then we removed the oil filter housing, then we removed our idler pulley and the alternator, then we removed the AC line hanger, and we removed the AC from the engine block, and we've allowed that to sit down in this little area right here. So now we can get in and remove our tensioner. Alright, this ought to give you an idea of what a dumb design of a tensioner this is. Okay, so this big glorified piece that is both part of your AC bracket is also the belt tensioner for the Toyota 4Runner 4.0. And you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to have 5 bolts that are on the side of the engine, not on the front, to get out in order to get that off. And in order to do that, you're also going to have to uninstall the alternator and move the AC compressor to the side. And that way you can get into the side of the engine there and get the tensioner out. Okay, so now we are left with our water pump. We're left with our idler pulley. We're left with the power steering pump, bottom idler pulley, and the main crankshaft pulley there to get off. So that's what we're going to start working next. Again, I'm going to start at the driver's side and start working over, getting pulleys and accessories out of the way, and then go from there. Just to kind of remind you, everything on the front of this engine is going to be a 12, 13, 14, or 15 millimeter, so you should have fun there. So, alright, well, I'm going to get these pulleys off and then work on this water pump, and then the next, or I'm sorry, I keep calling it a water pump, work on this power steering pump, and then the next video I think I'll make will show you how to set TDC and get this crankshaft pulley off. Alright folks, I will be right back. Okay, so now that I've got my power steering pump off and set aside there, see, just going to let it hang out and set aside. You've got 2 bolts, 14 millimeter. You're going to go in through the pulley to get to those 2 bolts and get those off, set that aside. The only thing we're left with is going to be the water pump. And you just follow it all the way around and go ahead and take all the bolts out of the water pump and get your water pump off of there. And then once we have the water pump off, we'll go ahead and set top dead center per the markings on the crankshaft pulley. And I'll use the compressed air to get the crankshaft pulley off. Alright, there you go. There's your water pump removed. Now remember, you're going to have 10 millimeter bolts and 12 millimeter bolts to take off in order to get the water pump off. And now we're really opened up, and all we seem to have left is to get the crank pulley off, and then we can start working on getting the timing cover off. While I'm in here, I'm also going to go ahead and remove other things like my sensors that are on my timing cover, so I don't do any damage to those. So just to kind of recap between the videos, we've removed the thermostat housing, we've removed the oil filter housing, the alternator, the AC compressor without disconnecting the lines. We just removed it from the engine. The tensioners, the idler pulleys, and then same with the power steering pump. We just disconnected it and set it aside from the engine. The water pump, and so next we're going to use our marks here and here, and we're going to set top dead center, and then we'll get our crankshaft pulley off, also known as our harmonic balancer, and then we'll go from there. Okay, everybody, well, I'm going to end these 2 series of the video, and then the next series in this will show you how to set top dead center and also how to remove the harmonic balancer. Everybody, this is Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician. Thanks for hanging out. Please like, subscribe, and share the knowledge. I'm signing off.